Monsieur, what are you doing in my fireplace?
What? I'm in a fucking fireplace. Ah, 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 ow, my arse. Ow, ow, oh, God, that's hot. Girl in the Fireplace by Steven Moffat as, of course, episode 4 of series 2 of Doctor Who. Now, The Girl in the Fireplace tells the story of the Doctor, Rose and Mickey this time landing on the ship, the Madame de Pompadour in the 51st century, 3,000 years before the Doctor meets the Princess of Versailles, Renette, who he becomes the only man she has ever loved, and keeps appearing throughout the events of her life through the Madame de Pompadour through time. However, these clockwork droids want to use Renette's head to repair their ship. So, yeah, it's a very hard story to follow and very complex plot, but that's the basic synopsis. The Girl in the Fireplace. Now, this is Steven Moffat's second story that he wrote for Doctor Who, and with The Empty Child and Doctor Dances, he had a hard act to follow, but boy did he impress both critics and audiences. Everybody absolutely loves this episode and praises it as one of the best Steven Moffat stories and one of the best stories of the revived series just ever. Oh my gosh. What do I think of it? I love it. It's brilliant. It's a masterpiece. While I believe it's a minor step below The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances, it's almost as good. It is still in that league. But first of all, let's talk about the character of Renette, because she is such an interesting and original character. I mean, we first see her as this princess in Versailles. The Doctor meets her in her fireplace, thus the title of the episode, and there's so many mysteries. Who is this girl? Why is she so special? Yes, Steven Moffat does love to make his characters special, like making River Song the daughter of Amy and Rory, and Clara the Impossible Girl. Even if he didn't give them much characterization, but he gives Renette plenty of characterization, and it's so interesting how the Doctor keeps appearing throughout her life, and he becomes the only man she loves and depends on, and she soon realises that he's a time traveller, and she's gradually learning the truth as the episode goes on. And props to the actress, she gave truly a wonderful performance. Oh, she deserves an award for that performance. Thank God this episode won an award for outstanding production. This was back when Steven Moffat was great, am I right? And the plot is extremely complicated, deep and complex, and hard to follow, particularly for younger viewers, but that's what makes it so great. It makes kids think. The first time I saw this episode, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Well, I was only 10 when I saw it, but now as a 20-year-old man, I do understand the story much clearer. It's made more for adults than it is for children. Yeah, that was back when Doctor Who hit both the adults as well as the kids, and the clockwork droids, the antagonists, they are absolutely terrifying. They are ruthless, where with their saw blade arms, they could decapitate your head. I mean, and their emotionless faces just give you the shivers. And the fact that they wanted to use Renette's head to prepare their ship, and even use some of Rose and Mickey as spare parts, makes them absolutely brutal, because of course they're machines, they don't feel any emotions. However, I would say they're not quite in the same league as the gas mask zombies or the Empty Child, because as antagonists, while they are intimidating physically, their motivation isn't very original. Because they're robots, you really don't feel emotionally attached to them. They don't have any particular interesting backstory like the Empty Child did, and they just want to cut off somebody's head to fix their ship. That's basically their plan, but they're still great antagonists. They still do their job of terrifying, and that's what they needed to do. The production design in this episode is truly amazing. It is in a league of its own. Just the Madame de Pompadour ship looks spectacular. Such an original ship design. It looks, and the Palace of Versailles looks so authentic. Absolutely gorgeous, that cozy atmosphere, and the costumes are fabulous. Absolutely spectacular, particularly the costumes and mask designs for the clockwork droids. The Mill, you've outdone yourself. This is one of the best looking episodes of Series 2, without question. And I love that horse. That horse was freaking awesome. The one that the Doctor befriends in the gardens of Versailles. And he jumps in through the glass window at the end. Oh, that was spectacular. Steven Moffat's not really a very action-y writer. His episodes are not nearly as action-packed as Russell T Davis's writings, but this episode isn't supposed to be very action-oriented. Its heart lies in the emotion and the drama, which back then is what Steven Moffat truly excelled at. And the relationship between Reness and the Doctor is what makes this episode so that really improves the pacing. And the climax of this episode are when the droids attack Versailles and Renette screaming, the clock is broken, we need you, Doctor. And they hold her hostage, and the Doctor comes bursting through on that horse, and he destroys the droids by calling them fakes, and just saves the day. Oh, that was so thrilling, so spectacular, and a great way to conclude the droids storyline. However, one little nitpick I would have with this episode, as much as I'm praising it as hell, is that Rose and Mickey really have a lack of things to do in the episode. They get little screen time and little to do in this story, so their presence in the episode is a little questionable. I mean, there's one time when they're in danger, but that's about it. So this episode would have been absolutely perfect if they'd have just been put back on Earth, because Steven Moffat, if you're not going to do anything with them, why would you bring them aboard this ship? At least Rose was with Captain Jack for most of the Empty Child, but here she's just wasted. But that's just a little nitpick. That does not spoil my overall enjoyment of the episode. And the ending is really thought-provoking when the Doctor promises to see Reness again, but when he comes through the fireplace, he's too late. He arrives at when Reness is old and the last year of her life, and he sees her funeral. But I know the Doctor could have travelled back to before that, to when he still had the chance. But yeah, it's really sad that he didn't get that one last chance to see her again. It's a mature ending that brilliantly concludes this story's drama, and overall, The Girl in the Fireplace, it's brilliant. Any flaws I have with it are just little nitpicks, and I don't think this is the absolute best story of Series 2, and a minor step down from The Empty Child and The Doctor Dances, but it's still brilliant. It's in my top 5 favourite stories of Series 2 easily. Steven Moffat, please write another story like this again.
I give The Girl in the Fireplace 5 stars out of 5.
Yeah, in case you haven't guessed by now, Series 2 is one of my absolute favourite Doctor Who series, yeah, and it's on a roll at the moment. So I love you guys, thank you all for watching. What do you think of Girl in the Fireplace? Please comment, let me know. If you like this series, subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and on Google+, and join me next time for my review of Rise of the Cybermen and The Age of Steel, the first 2-parter of Series 2. And I'll see you all then. Bye, guys.